Welcome back to the session. In this session, we will see how to balance the target column in the data set. So as we know already, the data set that we are having or the data frame with target columns are unbalanced. So we have to balance those particular columns. So for that, we have taken a particular column and checked the total number of values presented in that particular column using value count. As we know, our data frame had an unbalanced target column. That is, the number of zeros was higher when compared to the number of ones present in that particular column. So we have created another data frame from the initial data frame where we selected an equal number of ones and zeros from that particular data. So here we can see that we have selected 5000 ones and 5000 zeros, and then we have selected the shape to see the total number of values present in that particular data frame. And over here we can see that we have 5000 values of ones and 5000 values of zeros. And here we can see that we have 5000 zeros and 5000 ones. Here we are using a value count to count the number of ones and zeros again. And then we are concatenating these two values and creating another data frame. We have the toxic comment balanced to 1 and the toxic comment balanced to 0. And we have concatenated them and then stored them in toxic comment balanced and created another data frame. And as you can see now that in this particular data frame, the number of zeros and ones are similar. And we have successfully balanced that particular target column. And we have checked this using df.valueCount or dataframe.valueCount. Here we have an equal number of ones and zeros in this particular data frame. And in the same way, we have repeated for the other data frames also. And in the similar way, we have repeated for other data frames also. As you can see over here, this particular data frame is called a severe toxic comment. So using this value count, we see that here 1,57,976 zeros and 1,595 ones. So again we have an unbalanced data set and we have to balance this target column again. So we see them, there are only 1,595 ones. So we are supposed to take only 1,595 zeros so that we can get a balanced target column. And we have used the ilog function again and we have only selected 1,595 zeros as well so that we have a balanced target column. And once we are done with those things, we have to concatenate these two values over here and create a separate data frame, and we are doing that using concatenate function. And finally, after concatenation, finally we have stored the new data frame as a severe toxic comment balanced. And then we are checking for the count. So here the number of ones is 1595 and number of zeros are 1595. So the severe toxic comment column is also balanced. So in the similar way we have to do for the remaining columns also. So in this absent column, we are having number of zeros as 1,51,122 and number of ones as 8,449. So again we need to balance this data frame. So for that, again I have used ilog function and selected only 5,000 zeros and 5,000 ones. Now after selecting zeros and ones in equal count, we have to concatenate them and store the data frame as absence absent, comment balanced. And now we will check the value count. So this column is having 5000 ones and 5000 zeros. Same way we are repeating with the threatening comment column also. So here also the data is unbalanced. Number of zeros are 1,59,093 and number of ones are 478. So out of these values we are selecting only 478 zeros and 478 ones. After that, once again we need to concatenate the values. So here we have to check the value count, so which is 478 zeros and 478 ones in this column. And finally we are saving that new data frame into threatening comment balanced. Next we are moving on to insulting comment column. So here we are having number of zeros as 1,51,694 and number of ones as 7,877. So in this column we are selecting 5,000 zeros and 5,000 ones to balance the column. Again concatenation of these two. And we need to store the new data frame as insulting comment balanced, and to check the values we have used value count. So it is showing like 5,000 ones and 5,000 zeros in that column. It means this column is also balanced. Now balancing identify hate comment column. So in identity hate comment column we are having number of zeros as 1,58,166 and number of ones as 1,405. So here I am selecting 1,405 zeros and 1,405 ones. So after balancing, the new subset data frame identity hate comment balanced is having number of ones as 1,405 and number of zeros as 1,405. It means now all our target variables or the target columns are balanced.